He said, I wanna rock.
Are we gonna be goofing off like this every day?
We're not goofing off. We're creating musical fusion.
Wow, you're amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
I'm a small reporter from Rolling Stone magazine that's in town to do an exclusive interview with Michael Jackson.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
It is time for the Unsigned and Unhinged Meltdown.
What's up, everybody? This is Frank E. with the Unsigned and Unhinged Meltdown, and I have with us all the way from Oregon, Portland, I got Cody from Amerakin Overdose. How you doing today?
I am doing great, man. I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous, as always. And not like fabulous. I'm just doing great. So, now, Amerakin Overdose, for you guys that don't know anything about them, because I'm in Wisconsin, and you know what, Cody? You guys got to get out to the Midwest, because the Midwest rock scene is freaking insane. And I don't know how it is out there by you, but out here it's insane, and you should definitely do a few shows out here. Just saying.
Oh, I agree. I love the Midwest out there, man. We've gone out there a number of times. We've probably played the Midwest more than we have played the West Coast. Like,
oh, wow.
Gone through like California and Arizona and all those places. We played the Midwest a lot more often than we have played out here. Given, obviously we played Oregon and Washington probably the most because we're from this area. But when we've traveled, we've always hit the Midwest. And we actually played with Mushroomhead in Wisconsin at, I don't know how to say the city. I think it's Cudahy or
Cudahy.
What? How do you say that?
It's
Cudahy.
Cudahy. Yeah.
I never knew how to say it. Yeah, whatever the name of the city is.
Whatever the name of that town is, we played there.
It was. we played a little. We played a little like bar/grill area thing there that was really fun, and the crowd is really intense. But yeah, you're right. The Midwest definitely has a scene, and they're very supportive out there. It seems like there's a lot of bands, and people show up for shows, and they buy merch, and
that's why I started this podcast. Is to just
I love it. That's awesome.
Push out the local music scene. I don't care if you're doing rap, rock, metal, death metal. I even have a Christian worship band that's coming on. I don't care what kind of music you do, because everybody has a right to get their voice heard. So
agreed.
Now, the name of the band is Amerakin Overdose. So what is the meaning behind the name, and how did you guys come up with it?
It's the attitude, man. It's the whole, it's kind of like, I think that the America has like this stereotype that everyone else around the world kind of looks at it as, like they're the big dogs. They have to have the best of this, the best of that. Even if you can't afford it, you biggest house, biggest car, hottest girlfriend. You just have to outdo yourself constantly. It's like this drive of always wanting to succeed, and the American dream. I mean, that's what we named our album off of, is having that American dream of being successful and having money and the women and the fun and the fame and all that type of stuff. So we kind of wanted to emphasize with the name that the attitude, and put that behind it. So we kind of said, all right, well, when people think of American or America, they think of that. Now, what about it on steroids or overly done? So Amerakin Overdose is kind of like where we came up with the name for that.
Okay. Now, I gotta say, I haven't heard about you guys until, I believe it was Pito. Pito sent me a friend request on Facebook, and this is when I started to get in motion everything for the podcast. So I was just doing my networking, so to speak, where it would be like, hey, you might know this guy, and oh yeah, he's got a guitar in his hand and he's on stage. I'm just going to add you and just network for my podcast. And Pito had sent me a friend request, and he's like, hey, go check out my band. And I went and liked the page on Facebook, because it's just what I do. And then I started listening to the music, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is insane. Like,
awesome.
I saw the video for I Alone and was just immediately hooked, and was like, oh my gosh, man, these guys live in Portland. Damn it, I want to see these guys. So
That's awesome, dude. That's cool.
yeah,
we
because
are infamous for doing. That sounds like what me and Pito do. We go online and we find out, okay, what's going on in this city, and places that we can't literally go out and touch.
Clearly, we had some technical difficulties in this Skype interview, but don't worry, guys. We ended up getting him back. This is why I'm not doing this thing live yet. So, on with the show.
There we go.
There we go.
You're the smart man.
Well,
all right. So
I wasn't
what
IT
I was saying
guy.
is that that helps. What I was saying is, me and Pito, we usually will go hunt down what are the local bands in this state or this city. What are the podcasts? What are the venues? What are the promoters? Like, we try to find out all that, and then we go and we find out the shows that are coming through town that are similar to our style of music, and then we will literally just blast them with, hey, check out this band if you like this and that, and we get a good response from doing that. But we also invest in Facebook marketing, constantly, just paying whatever it is that they charge for campaign for 14 days or 21 days or whatever, and just try to market as much as we can out there to people that are not familiar with us.
Yeah.
Luckily, like we said, we did the Mushroom Head tour, and that got a lot of fans into us and got the name out a little bit. But we're still very underground. We consider ourselves very underground. We're a yourself band. We don't have any record labels behind us. We have no any real management behind us other than people that have just taken upon themselves to say, you know what, I want to help this band, and I want to do what I can, my part, and spread the word about them.
Yeah.
It's literally been self-funded between the band members and the fans that buy the merch and what have you.
Yeah. And this is my way of supporting, and it's free.
Dude, podcasts are the biggest ways. It's free, like you said, and you have your audience obviously listens to you, and so it's all of your audience is now going to be familiar at least with the name, and then if they check out the interview, they'll know that much more about the band. So we appreciate the interviews that we do with podcasts, with magazines, with webzines, with all that, because it helps share our stuff to their audiences.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when I was first starting everything, the whole reason why I started is I'm really, really good friends with the band that the episode's going to air later this week with 3 Left. And I was talking with Johnny. He's like, and he's the drummer, and he's like, well, who all do you have so far? I was like, well, I got this band from Portland that's probably going to be coming on, and they're really good. He's like, Portland, who? And I said, Amerakin Overdose. And he was like, oh, I've heard of them. They're really good. And then I'm like, and he's never seen you guys. He's just heard of you. And he was like, they're really good.
That's awesome.
I'd like to do a show with them. And I'm like, well, maybe someday I can make it happen. And now, I'm getting bands that are like,
that would be cool, man. We love.
I'm getting bands where now I'm starting to promote shows. Like, I have a show that my podcast is sponsoring in July, and I have another one in August. And I just got 4 bands on the bill on each one, and was like, let's go with having these 2 shows, and let's see what happens. Let's see where we go. And if we fall on our face...
That's going to help your name. That's going to help your podcast.
Oh, I know.
I don't think you'll fall on your face. It's just you got to keep doing it. It's just like the same thing with those bands. When you're a musician, as a band, even if you have 1 or 2 people that are there, if they fall in love with your shit, they're going to go tell the people, and they're going to get excited about it.
Exactly.
They're going to be like, oh, and then eventually when you build a rep for yourself, when they see that your stamp is behind it, when they see that your podcast is behind it, they're going to want to go to the show. Many of the bands are going to be like, this motherfucker knows how to put on shows. He gets the good bands that put on badass shows, and so that's how you start. You start with with a little planting seeds here and planting seeds there.
That's what we're trying to do. So one thing I want to get in before the first song that I'm going to spin is I remember seeing this on Facebook, and I was completely inspired by what you did. You had posted a rant about record companies, and it actually got posted on another blog on a website. and I had read that post and was like, I love this guy because he's got the balls to say what no one else has to say. And I respect you highly for for just putting it out there and actually speaking the truth that so many people are afraid to say. So my hat's off to you, sir. And if you guys want to go and check that out, I forgot the website that I found it on, but it's out there. So maybe I'll find it. If I can find it.
It's not hard to find, man. It made it in a couple of things. So it made it on the PRP.com. It made it on even Alternative Press. And we have paid for PR before, and Alternative Press never picked up anything that we would send to them, even when we had a very well-known PR company pushing us. They didn't pick up on it, but they fucking pick up on a random rant that I did at like 2:00 in the morning. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I basically just let them know what I was thinking, and it's like, I'm not afraid to say it. My mouth has not got me. It's not the first time my mouth's got me in trouble with people or pissed people off. I like to say it how it is. When I tell you something, then you don't have any doubts of what I'm saying is true or what I really feel or think, because I don't hold back for the most part. For a while there, I was kind of watching what I was saying because our management was telling us that there's a lot of eyes watching us, that we didn't want to burn any bridges. But it's like, we haven't burned any bridges. We might have pissed off some people and lit a fire on their ass, but if anything, we got our message out there and what we actually think, and that might inspire some of these labels to pick it up and fucking be like, you know what, maybe we are fucking up in this aspect, and maybe we need to do something about it. And it might inspire musicians, even in known bands that have bitched about the labels and all that, to start speaking out and just make their demands and shit. It's like, it doesn't help anyone when you stay in silence, and there's nothing these labels can take away from us. There's nothing that any of these people that might have some power behind them can take away from us, because like I told you earlier, we have paid for everything we've done. We've been self-funded. There's no one that's done any favors for us. It's all been from the crowds the fans that we've built, and from ourselves and our own funding that's gotten us where we are. So when there's nothing that can take away from us, I'm not gonna bow down and say, oh, okay, keep fucking us in the ass, and I'll have a smile on my face. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So the first song that we're going to spin, this is off your first CD. And it's actually the first track, and it was like probably the second song I actually listened to after I heard I Alone, which was American Me. So what's like the meaning behind this song, and like how did the writing process incur for it?
So this song was one of the very first songs that we actually released out in a demo. The funny thing is that I'm a huge Pantera fan, and I was watching this interview that Phil Anselmo did on. He did it to a college. I think it was back in 2009, and he was talking about Pantera and the drugs that he was on, and how that shaped his life, and how the downfall of Pantera from his drug use and downfall in his personal life. And the interview really inspired me. I was thinking about like how that affects people, how drugs affect people, and all that. And I was thinking about the band name Amerakin Overdose, and how that has some sort of relation to addiction and drugs and attitude and all that stuff that we're going for. So when I had the song, I'm like, I'm going to use this video as inspiration, but I'm also going to tie it to the meaning behind the band and make it kind of like our anthem. It's more of like a, we're going to shove this in your face, whether you like it or not. You're going to inject it like a drug, and you're going to take it, and you're going to be proud of it. Yeah. It's not really a drug reference song, but it kind of, the whole, overdosing on something, on ego or on attitude or whatever, is kind of like the direction that I took with the lyrics on it. So that's kind of where we went with that.
All right, guys. So this is American Me. And this is the self-titled album, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify. You can you get digital copies on the website, or is it just physical copies?
Yep. Bandcamp.
Okay.
Go on Bandcamp, you can buy the digital or the physical copies. It's on YouTube. It's on everything, pretty much, except for it's on everything. The second album is not on Pandora, but this one is.
All right, guys. So check it out.
feel. Breathe me in, exhale me out. Check me inside your worthless self. Consumed by the pain, it all goes away. Nothing to lose, you got nothing to gain. I can't feel what is real. You've got to be it, just breathe into. You've got to be it, let it consume. Control the inside, you control the out. Control the inside, you control the out. Drag me down and tear me all apart. Use me, abuse me, rip out my heart. American life, American eye, American way, American me, American life, American eye, American way, American me, American, American me.
That was American Me. It's off their self-titled debut CD. And again, I got Cody with me from Amerakin Overdose. And all the way out in Portland. And I'm in, a rinky-dink town called Racine in Wisconsin. It's actually not rinky-dink. But it's rinky-dink compared to Portland. I mean, gosh. You guys have
Portland's not that big. It's not that big, man.
It's well, you guys got sports teams.
It's the smallest, biggest city in the world.
You got.
We have the Blazers.
You have the Blazers. We don't have anything in Racine. So we got a bunch of.
Yeah, we don't even have a football team though. So that tells you something.
I mean, Wisconsin has an expansion team up in Green Bay. I mean, I've never heard of them. I'm an anti-Packer fan, just so you know.
I like the Packers. I'm going to be honest with you. My best friend got me into them, so I like the Packers.
I'm a diehard Tampa Bay fan, and I ride and die with my team.
There you go. As long as you're loyal, you're not like just jumping on the bandwagon.
No. But see, for me, it finally paid off being a Cub fan last year. That's all I'm saying. Finally, we got something to be proud of. And now, of course, this season they're flopping. It's just like, dude, come on.
You have your ups and downs, and then when you're up, dude, then it's like, it's like you won the lottery. So
exactly,
I think it makes you appreciate it. If you're a bandwagon fan, there's no excitement other than you're just one of the fucking pack of people that are just jumping on and saying that's my team when it's really not. And
yeah,
there ain't no fun to that.
Exactly. So now you guys have toured mainly in the Midwest and, out by where you're at. What would you say probably is one of the more favorite venues that you guys have played?
That is hard to say, man. It was just there's been a lot of fun times that we've had going out. It just depends on, I guess, what mood I'm in that day. We had a blast playing Mushroom Head's Halloween show out in Cleveland, Ohio at the Agora. Mm-hmm. Just knowing the history behind that place was just, Marilyn Manson wrote part of Antichrist Superstar in the basement of that.
Oh, wow.
Of that album. Like the lyrics, I guess, is what he was living down there or something we heard from some of the club employees there. We played in front of 2,000 people. It's Mushroom Head's biggest show they have in their hometown. It was a blast.
Yeah.
We played out at Harpos in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh,
that
wow.
was really scary. We heard rumors about, you can get robbed and stabbed and shot and this and that. We literally had security guards escorting the bands from their vehicle when they got there into the venue with their gears. And then anytime we had to go outside, security guards had to go out with you because it's just a really bad part of town. And everyone said, when you leave this venue, make sure you do not stop for anybody. Some people will literally get in the middle of the road to try to stop you, and then they mug you, rob you, whatever they do. So
I need to have a cigarette, Mr. Security Guard. Please walk me outside so I can smoke a cigarette.
And that's literally what it was like. And you walk in the venue, I don't know if you've ever been to Harpos in Detroit, Michigan, but you walk into the venue, you never forget that smell. The stage is like 10 feet high. Like, it's just ridiculous. Your neck's going to hurt. If you're watching a whole show, your neck's going to hurt by the end of the night because the stage is so tall and high. And I think it was like maybe a drama theater back in the day, like way, way, way back in the day.
Oh, my.
The place smells just of mold and nastiness, but great fucking venue, great crowd, craziness.
Get some Febreze for that place,
Yep. We played at the venue that Dimebag got shot at in Ohio as well.
Oh, man.
That was kind of weird. There's still blood stains on like the ceiling that they hadn't been able to clean off. It was sad, and it was fucking crazy just playing that venue, knowing what happened and the history there.
Dimebag, man, he was
Whiskey a Go-Go. We played the Rosen Theater here in Portland with Cold Chamber. We played a lot of badass shows. There's not one that really comes to mind that says this is the best one, but definitely we've had our fair share, and luckily to have a lot of memorable ones.
Yeah. Now, I've asked this question with a lot of bands, and I get mixed reactions from both sides. Would you say that you guys would prefer playing on a bigger stage where you have lots of room to move around, or do you prefer to have a smaller venue where you can be more intimate with the crowd and really feel the crowd's reaction?
We like the big-ass stages because usually if you're playing on a big-ass stage, you have more room to move, to get crazy, to have your stage theatrics, and then also usually at that point you're playing in front of a big crowd at that point.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's still going to be intimate because we literally, my brother and I will jump off, Pito and I will jump off the stage, and we will get in people's faces on the guardrail or even in the crowd. So we make sure that we still make it intimate. It's not going to, just because there's a guardrail and security guards between us doesn't mean that you're safe. We're going to jump in there and fucking mosh with you and sing in your face and mess up your hair or whatever the hell we're doing. We always make that a point, no matter what show we play, whether it's big or small. We always jump in the crowd, and we want people to feel like they're a part of it, a part of the show. So
awesome.
I like the bigger stages.
Okay. Now, here's one for you. What's probably one of the most embarrassing moments that you guys have had on stage?
Oh man, we've had quite a few of those. We like to drink and we like to party. There's been some shows where I've been way too drunk. Where I think we played with Sir Mix a lot. I don't even remember playing. I probably fucked up the songs a lot that we had. And we were playing in front of a rap group, so they were probably like even more confused. They were like, "What the fuck is this? Who the hell is this? What are they thinking about?" And so they were probably just as confused. Then we've there was this one show that we played. It was a hometown show that we were headlining. I got a little too drunk and fucking my pants ripped up on stage and they fell down. And I'm playing like in my boxers pretty much. And there's pictures on the internet that people have posted from that show, which is pretty funny. I wouldn't say it's embarrassing, but it's funny. And it's like one of those like, oh, you never know what you're going to get when you see us live.
Yeah.
There was a show that we played out in Michigan with Primer 55. And it was a show where we had been drinking a lot in the parking lot. Our friend Steve Handlin, I'll give him a shout out on here for that, came with the cheapest fucking whiskey. We had been talking online for quite some time, and he was a big fan of the band. And he wanted to meet us. We met in the parking lot of the show, and we started drinking this cheap-ass whiskey that he brought for us. Got pretty drunk. I'm on stage, we're rocking out, and I puke off the stage onto the ground, thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm puking off of the stage where we're fine. My bass player, Luke, is rocking out, getting crazy, getting into it, and he decides to jump off the stage. Lands in the puke, slips, and, he's 300 pounds plus at this point. He slips, falls on his back like a turtle, and is not able to get up, but he still keeps playing. Fucked up his ass. I think I broke his, I don't know how you properly say it, but it's coccyx? Your coccyx? Whatever. It's a bone in your tail. Bone in your tail, or it's a tailbone type of thing.
Uh-huh.
He broke it or fractured it or whatever. The rest of the fucking tour, he had to sit like on a fucking like donut type of thing, sleep on beds, and have the most comfortable spots ever.
Uh-huh.
And I still give him shit about that. I'm like, dude, you got lucky that you slipped my puke because that made it you a priority for the rest of the tour. You got up front the whole time. You were able to fucking sleep in beds every night while we were sleeping on hard floors or fucking whatever. So don't shit. But that was probably a funny, embarrassing moment too. Let's see. I think that's kind of what comes to mind fresh off of that question. But
okay.
I'm sure that there's plenty of other stories we've had with that.
Yeah, you guys been around for quite a while, so I mean, almost...
We've been doing it since 2010.
Yeah.
Since 2010.
Like
we started in 2009. Yeah.
7-8 years, you guys been jamming.
Getting old.
You're not old until you feel old, so,
I'm getting hair in places I shouldn't be getting them.
I'm 38, and the only thing that makes me feel like I'm 38 is I got no cartilage in my knees, so I have to use a cane to get around. And sometimes I can't walk, and I'm sitting in a chair when I'm at a rock show because if I stand, I'm gonna fall. So I'll be sitting in a chair, and most of my friends that are in bands will make sure my chair is right front of the stage because they'll grab a chair for me and put me in front of the stage, and whoever's with me is usually got right there. So everyone, if you're with me and you go to a show, you're more likely going to get front row treatment. So I'm sitting there in a chair, head banging, slamming my cane on the ground. It's awesome.
That's as long as you're still going to shows. When you're not going to shows, you're like, oh, it's too loud. I can't handle the crowd. It's too hot. Like once you start bitching about that, then you might be getting old. But I think you're fine. The fact you're still going, that's fucking awesome.
I love to go to shows, man. If I could go to a rock show every night, I would be in heaven. So.
Oh, I would too.
So
I would too, but then fucking, I know when I go, I like to have a fun time. My neck's sore. I'm usually hungover. Fucking, I'm out late. I'm tired, so I limit it to usually the weekend. But during the week, if a band like a week from now, I think Hell Yeah is gonna be playing. And it's a Tuesday. I'm gonna have to go. I have no choice, but I have to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I might have like one drink when I'm at the bar. I mean, I just I just don't, because when I sit there and I start drinking some hard stuff, my body does not know when to stop. So I'll sit there and have an Angry Orchard or two, and then I'm okay. But as soon as I get like some Southern Comfort, as soon as I get that Southern Comfort, I'm like, ooh, and I have to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You can limit yourself, and that's fucking mad fucking props to you for being able to do that, because it is hard, definitely.
It's very hard, and like it was really hard for me for a while, even going into a bar, because just the atmosphere alone would make me want to.
My favorite drink is this, and I'm gonna rock out to this band, and I like to drink to this, and it's hard, man. It's fucking hard. I have struggled with trying to stop, like at times, like just to slow it down a little bit, and that's a challenge. But for the most part, like right now, like I don't have any problems. Like during the week, I have a beer or two. The weekends, when I'm free, I know I don't have any responsibilities and shit. Oh, it's game on. I'll get fucking crazy and I will drink. But for the most part, I can limit myself during the week, where I'm like, all right, I got to go to work tomorrow. I can't get crazy. I'm gonna have one beer, 2 beers, and I'll stop myself at that point. But the weekends is kind of my moment to get crazy and let loose and not have to worry about, I have responsibilities tomorrow and none of that. Like yesterday, I recovered from a hangover.
I don't want to adult today.
I was hurting all day. Yeah, yesterday was literally one of those days. I'm like, I am hurting. I'm not going to do shit today. The world is just like a bitch today. I'm going to sleep in and whatever. So
whatever happens,
Yeah, I definitely chilled yesterday, but today it's like one of those days where I'm like, all right, tomorrow's work. I can't get crazy. I'm going to just hang out and be responsible and get some shit done around the house.
And come on the Unsigned and Unhinged Meltdown podcast. Woo!
Exactly. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Thank you for having us on here.
You guys were. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I was just saying, anytime that anyone takes interest in us, man, we're super thankful, because you guys have a million fucking people you guys can put on your show, but when you're pushing to have us on and asking us, like that's to us is huge, because it's doing us a huge favor to get us out to your audience, and making sure that people do care about what we have to say and what we're about and whatnot. So
I mean, the next song we're gonna spin is also off the debut album. This is Trance Dance Motion. I freaking love this song. It's almost like kind of like that rock, but you kind of want to move your hips to it type thing.
Yeah, get bloody with and nastiness with. This is a song that I absolutely hated back in the day. I was like, I don't get it, but it's kind of like the direction that we were wanting to, make fans like think that we're kind of in as well and get influenced by, and it was one of those songs where we knew we were going to do songs that were going to move people and make them kind of dance and want to move, because we have the other one like Dead Girl on the Dance Floor and like Love Like Ecstasy on the new album. But when we put the song out, I was like, it's so basic, it's so fucking simple, it's like stupid and it's repetitive, but it makes all the sense in the world to me now. So I like it. We started bringing it back to live shows. So
even Dragula, when Rob Zombie wrote Dragula, that was like a really, really simple song.
Yep, it was.
And it was like the whole bait, like if I remember correctly from the story that I had seen, I think it was like on MTV way back in the day, back when they used to play videos. They did a thing about that Dragula, and Rob Zombie was saying, yeah, we just sat there and we were just jamming and jamming and jamming, and we liked this guitar riff, and we based the whole song pretty much off that guitar riff. And
that's funny.
He like spit out the whole song in like 35, 45 minutes or something. And they didn't expect it to be a hit, but there it is. It's huge.
Funny how that happens.
So, all right, guys, we're going to spin Trance Dance Motion. It's off the debut CD, self-titled, Amerakin Overdose. So check it out.
get going. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it started. You got it, you got it, you got it so good. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it started. You got it, you got it, you got it so good. American girl, American whore, American girl, American whore. Get your hair did, get your nails done, anything you want, but it's all in fun. No, I'm not in love, you're just a product perfect for my boys and loud and rowdy, dirty naughty girl. Let's fucking party. We'll keep it going till the goddamn cops come. Everybody say, get off, get out, get gone. Get in, get off, get out, get gone. Get in, get off, get out, get gone. Get in, get off, get out, get gone. Something fuck you, taste you, fill you up inside. Screaming, bruising, lasting breath of life. Subject of life, subject your mind. Subject of life, your body is mine. Dress nuts, dress nuts, dress nuts, dress nuts, dress nuts, baby. Get in, get off, get out, get gone. 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 Get in, get off, get out, get gone.
All right, I hope you guys were shaking it, pop lock, and dropping it to trance dance motion. I don't know if you can pop lock and drop it, but hey, it happens. So I got Cody with me still. He's still here, we're here. So man, Portland. I've always wanted to go out west.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you like strippers, if you like marijuana, if you like microbrews, this is your spot to be. And also, if you like nature, it's fucking green out here, dude. It is just greenery everywhere. Trees, fucking the most prettiest fucking areas to go visit and camp and hike and swim. Like, it's just, it's clean, fresh air. It's beautiful out here. It rains a lot, but it's beautiful. It's just green
always
everywhere.
wanted to go and visit Seattle. Like, always. Because
Seattle's great, too. I like Seattle.
The
Seattle's
skyline is gorgeous.
Oh, it is. When you're down there and you see all these big ass buildings everywhere, just like fuck, and it's fun. It's it's like I've been out there for a few shows and whatnot. It's a blast every time that we've been out there, and fucking it's a beautiful city, and again, you still have that fresh air for the most part and greenery everywhere. So
yeah, and you know what else, you guys, for my listeners, if you do not know, there's a very famous landmark in Oregon. And that is the Goonies house. The Goonies house is in Oregon. And I want to go there so bad. So bad. I just want to be like...
We shot our music video out in that direction. That Letting Go video with Waylon was out in that direction. We shot it out near the Goonies fucking beach that they shot the movie at.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to go and watch the video again. Just to be like... And then I want to see One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship just kind of floating in the background. Just see One-Eyed Willie's ship.
We should have. I'm going to have to bitch out the guy that did the video and tell him to put that on there.
Oh, man.
The pirate ship just in the background floating around.
And then just have, like, an impersonator doing the truffle shuffle. That would be
that could be Brick. Brick could do that. He can do the truffle shuffle. He's got a jolly belly.
Oh, man. Good time. That movie is a classic. That's all I'm probably going to go watch that movie after this interview now.
That's a great movie.
I'm a huge movie buff. I own all my movies are digital now. I have Vudu. I don't know if anybody knows what Vudu is, but my listeners, if you don't know, check it out. But I have about 1,500 movies on my Vudu account.
I am a huge movie fan too, but we have the fucking the Fire Stick from Amazon.
Oh,
so we're able to see like every single.
I have a Chrome box now. I have the Google Chrome box, which is better than a Fire Stick.
Is it really?
It's the Google Chrome box is better than the Fire Stick, and my guy got it for me, and I just watched. Like, I went to the theaters to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I'm a nerd and I love the Marvel movies, and as much as I could watch it at home, nothing beats seeing a movie on the big screen. So I had to go and see Guardians on the big screen, but just 2-3 days ago they finally had a good copy of Guardians on the Google box. So I went and watched it with my roommates that couldn't go see it, and watched Fate of the Furious because I love that franchise. A lot of people don't like it, but and I don't know if you've seen that movie or if you like that movie or the franchise, but at the end of 7, oh gosh, if you love that franchise like I do, it was a massive tearjerker. And you would go in and watch 8 and be completely happy, but then at the end of 8, they get you again with a tearjerker. I was like, why are you doing this to me? Stop! This is a man movie.
I'm more of I like thrillers, horror, comedy, action. I was just telling my buddy here, I don't like sci-fis for the most part. Even the comic book movies, all my friends, even my band members like that stuff. I'm just not. I'm more of a, can it happen in real life? If it can happen in real life, I'm into it. If it's like fantasy, I can't find any. I can't connect to it. I can't like get myself involved in it and shit. If I can get myself involved in it, then I'm fucking all about it.
Cody, are you trying to tell me that you're not into Star Wars, Firefly, Star Trek? Are you not into that?
I don't like Star Trek. I like Star Wars, the first 3.
You're talking episode 4, 5, and 6, and not the not the prequels.
Yep.
Okay, all right. We got to make sure, because some people say the first 3, and they think chronologically.
Yeah.
The Phantom Menace.
I think of the first. It's just I think there's some nostalgic thing of growing up and watching those movies that fucking makes me love those ones. And then when I see the new stuff, it's like that's cool. They have better effects and all that shit, but it's like I go back to the episodes 4, 5, and 6. I
liked episode 3 because it kind of just made you feel what Anakin was going through, in the process, and
the process of turning into the dark side.
Yeah, I liked it, but I think they made him too old. You know what I mean? Because you went from being really young to growing up way too fast. And I think they should have had more of a teenager play him, so it could be like this teenager that's like, dude, like an emo teenager, so to speak. But anyway, we're not talking about Star Wars and movies. We're talking about Amerakin Overdose. So we're going to get into something that I like to talk about, which is social media. And we're going to give you guys a little bit of taste of what's going on in social media with these guys. Now, they have over 22,000 followers on Facebook, and on Reverbnation, they have 178,000 fans on Reverbnation. That's a shit ton. That's a lot of fans. And wow. So
we've been very aggressive since the very beginning on social media. We understand the impact that it has. I was just talking to a buddy of mine here. He's also in a band, and I was just saying, it's equally as important to focus on the social media side of things as it is the in your face, in the crowd, and in live and in person shows. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a band and you're taking care of responsibilities at home and you're not able to tour and travel, you need to find some way to still reach out to the masses and be able to connect with them and interact with them and let them know about you.
Yeah.
So luckily we have.
You guys have been doing a good job.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And that's awesome to see that other people.
I mean, you're doing your footwork or finger clicking work, so to speak. With just getting the name out there, and that's impressive.
If we don't do that, if we don't push for it on social media, we know that every day that passes by that we're not doing that, we're wasting a day that we can literally touch,
exactly
anywhere from 1 to 100 or 200 people or 300 people. So
Well,
we've really utilized Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Reverbnation, Bandcamp. We've literally abused all those things, and we, like you said earlier, Pito reached out to you. We literally go out on there and we do research on, who's listening to heavy music that's similar to ours. Let's go find their fans and let's go let them know about us. And we aggressively, it's almost like spam. We spam them with shit, but
but it's good spam.
If you respond, it's good spam. Like, if you interact with us, we're going to respond back. It's not like we're just flooding you with shit. If we hit you up once and you don't respond, we're just going to leave you alone. And it's like, whatever, it's just. But we also do that in person too. So when shows come through town, so for example, when Hell Yeah comes through town, we will go to the concert.
Yeah.
We'll start talking to people there. We have flyers in hand. We'll print out, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 flyers. And after the show and during the show, we are handing out flyers to people that we see there, and we tell them about the band. We have the links on there, the Facebooks, the Twitters, all that crap. And we're literally just giving it to them. Sometimes we'll even have demos on us that we'll give them. But a lot of times people don't really... They'll grab a CD and they're like, oh, whatever. People like to have it on their phone. They like to have it on their iPods or their computers. So we'll just include free downloads on the flyer.
Yeah.
And we want people to be familiar with it. So we hand them the flyer. It's got our band picture, our links, and what have you. And we take advantage of the fact that we know that Hell Yeah fans will probably more than likely like Amerakin Overdose. So we'll go to shows that we know that are similar to our style of music. And we'll be there interacting during the show, handing out flyers. Then after, when everyone's coming out those same two doors, we're there right in their face, and we're handing them flyers, and take advantage of that.
But I agree with you.
Social media is just...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say social media is where it's at for a band nowadays. If you're not taking advantage of that and you're thinking that you have to tour all the time to make it happen, you could be using that time and that money to invest in internet marketing, and your results would probably be even double, triple, or quadruple better than what they are.
Yeah. See, like me personally, just like you said, I prefer to have a digital copy, because if I have a CD, that means I got to put it in my computer.
Yep.
And then I got to, scan it or upload it on. The only time I want a physical copy is if the band has signed the whole entire CD and I got it as kind of like a memento and be like, look, I got this CD. It's signed by the whole entire band. And then I just put it away. I show it off and then I put it away. But for the most part, I want digital, which, I think I bought, I didn't have enough money because, I'm disabled. So it's not like I can, but let me go and check. I think it was, I think I bought 10 songs off both your CDs altogether. Off of iTunes.
Dude, you should let us know you wanted them. I would have sent them over to you. I would have sent you the digital copy for both of them. If you still don't have all of them.
I don't have all of them. I'd love to have them all.
I'll send you the digital copies of both of them because I really appreciate the fact you taking the time to interview us and share us with your audience. To us, it's like, okay, it's a digital copy that we're giving out, and this guy obviously does a podcast. It's an investment to us in a sense. It's not a loss. I even tell people, we don't encourage people to download our music for free, but if you do, so be it. As long as you're supporting the band, and as long as you're going to the shows, you're reposting our stuff, as long as you're buying merchandise, and as long as in some way you're supporting the band, I'm all for it. That's another topic that I know a lot of people touch on, and they're like, what do you think about internet downloading and all that stuff? Is it wrong? Yes, of course it's wrong. And, of course, as a musician, I don't want to promote it and say that, you shouldn't be doing that and you're going to hell and I fucking hate you, or none of that shit like that. I think that's stupid to do that. If they're downloading it, people obviously have a passion for it and they love it, and
which everyone does that YouTube to MP3 now. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So if you're doing that, at the very least, what we ask is that if you're doing that, just go tell people about the band, follow the band on their social medias, repost their stuff, share them with your friends, let more and more people know about the band.
Yeah,
if you're going to do that, I think it's stupid when bands are so pissed off about it and they use that as a reason why, well, I'm not going to write any more music, or I'm not going to put any more music out, or I hate my fans for doing it. I hate that shit. Like, that stuff to me is just an excuse for people to bitch and rant and fucking be bitter and angry, and it's a new world that we're in. Mm-hmm. We have to learn to adapt to the world that we're in and find ways to benefit rather than use it as a fucking crutch of why, you know, things are going downhill in the music industry. Like, think outside the box and find a way of how you can use this thing that's, you know, crippling a lot of people to benefit you. And I always tell people, I'm like, if people want to download it, fine. Just go buy some merch, go to the shows, repost it. People don't realize that it's as simple as just reposting something that we posted from our page, whether it be a music video or a show or whatever. Something as simple as that has a huge impact, because now all of your friends on social media are seeing exactly what we just posted.
Yeah, because I actually shared the I Alone video on my Facebook, as well as the group, because I have a Facebook group page for the podcast, as well as having a page for the podcast, and I shared it on all three, and I got some feedback from myself, just from me posting it. My friends coming to me going, who are these guys? And I'm like, oh, they're
awesome.
They're a local band. They're like, I've never heard of them. I'm like, they're not from here, they're from Oregon. And they were like, how did you hear about them? I'm like, actually, one of their guys contacted me. You know, and that's how I got awesome. That's how I got turned on to them. And dude, they're awesome. And I think, you know, like I said, my brother downloaded some of your stuff, and a few of my friends downloaded some stuff. So this I know for a fact.
All it takes. That's all it takes is just something as simple as that. Just reposting something. It doesn't cost you any money other than it costs you the time to click a couple things to say yes, please repost this or whatever the fuck. And you're helping us out dramatically to the point where, you know, that's better to me than fucking going and buying the goddamn CD that's $20. $20, you might buy that CD and be like, oh, this is shit. But you know, I'll store it away, and that's all that ever happens with it.
Like how many times
reposting it you have?
Like how many times back in the day did we buy a CD? Like, I remember when I was younger, buying a CD because I heard a song on the radio or seen a video on MTV. Liked the one song, then listen to the rest of the CD and be like, dude, this CD's garbage except for this song.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that
That's
happening.
All you ever hear about it.
So, like, I think one of them was Arrested Development. I remember buying that when I was younger. And they did that song, Tennessee. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay. And then there was a guy that came out when I was younger that did the original version of Life is a Highway. Not the Rascal Flatts, okay? I'm talking about Tom Cochran, the guy that originally did the song. I bought that CD and was like, dude, this is like the only good song on here. I'm not dissing him. He's a very talented musician. Both groups that I have just mentioned, they're talented. It's just, to me, I only liked the one song that was getting played. Yep. So I'm not dissing saying that people are crap. They're talented. It's just that was the only song that struck a chord to me. But anyway, we've all had that experience in life. So the next song we're going to spin for everybody is a song that you've already dropped the name for it earlier, Love Like Ecstasy, which kind of like Trance Dance Motion, where it's kind of like that groove thing. But, I mean, I kind of get into that because I was a DJ for a long time. And when I hear something that's got kind of a dancey beat, I kind of just get drawn to it 9 times out of 10, just because of a habit, you know. But I don't want to ever hear Uptown Funk ever again, or the electric slide, or the Cupid Shuffle. I don't want to hear that stuff ever again.
Yeah.
Like 5-6 times a night. Play the Cupid Shuffle. Play Uptown Funk. Do the electric slide. No, I just played it. I wasn't here. I wasn't here. You know how many times I go on that rant? Like, at least every podcast I go on that rant. I swear, guys, I'll never do that again.
Some songs are just like, some songs you can totally see why, like, when you have a song that impacts people so goddamn much that it's just overwhelming to the point where it's been played everywhere, above and beyond. How do you top that with the rest of your album? The rest of your album's going to sound like shit, and then you're only going to be remembered for that one song, and anything you put out after that, will never match up to that, and that's
Yeah.
how you get these one-hit wonders, unfortunately. So
Sadly, there was a one-hit wonder, and the big hit that they had, Sugar Ray. I'm talking about Sugar Ray. They did that song "Fly," and
that's what got them signed. Supposedly, that's what I heard. They used to be a heavy metal band that got them signed to be what they became later.
Yeah,
that style of music.
So I kind of dig that song, and I got the CD. I think I got it for Christmas or something. I can't remember. And listened to the CD, and the song that really stuck out to me, the song that I liked the most, which ended up being the second single off that CD, which was RPM. I like that song a million times better than Fly. I love that song. But then when that song came out, they kind of flopped. I'm like, dude, that song was awesome. What's wrong with you people?
Yep. It
anyway,
just didn't match up to what they had that they pushed, unfortunately.
And so many bands get that, where they start out as a heavy metal band, and then they kind of just drop, like Green Day. It happened Green Day. It happened with Linkin Park. It happened with Offspring. It's like, my gosh, I swear, it's almost like the rant that Cody had that we mentioned earlier, where, you know, the record labels grab these bands that aren't even really that great, and they don't even really push them, and like bands just kind of morph once they get signed. That's why I'm going to college, because I'm going to start my own record label, get my own recording studio, and I'm like, hey, do what you want to do. Do what the music speaks to you guys, and go down that route. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to listen to it and be like, I think this might be a little bit better if you did this, but that's neither here nor there. But, alright, we're going to spin Love Like Ecstasy, and it's off their second CD, which is also available on iTunes. Is this the one that's on Spotify, or is it the first one that's on... Or no, Pandora.
No. Everything's on Spotify. Pandora will not play our second album, our recent The Great American Dream. For whatever reason, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that we have a song called Cunt, or if it's the album cover that has a naked chick on the front of it with the box, the American Overdose box covering her vagina. But... they will not. They put our first album on there, but they will not put our second album on there. So whatever.
Well,
fuck Pandora for that.
It is what it is. So off the Great American Dream, this is Love Like Ecstasy.
You've got me love drunk, struck, I'm sprung on one unlike anyone else. I want a little bit, a taste of it to know just what you got me wanting, going, getting, doing what you want. I've got you doing all the dirty, dirty things, the things you've never done before. Falling, crashing, burning, hitting bottom, I'm a junkie for you. Your complications got me going, got me going. I'm the one to give up, I'm the one to back down, I'm the one you heard of, I'm never gonna let you go. You're making me lose control, it feels like I've lost my soul. You see what you're doing to me, love like ecstasy, it's tearing me up inside, it's torture and lust collide. You know I will never be free, love like ecstasy. Me, oh my. Blonde hair, brown hair, don't care. Tan skin, take a spin. Small waist, thick thighs, pretty eyes, high class American ass. You know just what I want, it's everything you've got. My body's in a trance, you know it won't last. I want a little bit, can't get enough of it. I want a little bit, can't get enough of it. I'm the one to give up, I'm the one to back down, I'm the one you heard of, I'm never gonna let what you're doing to me. Love like ecstasy, it's tearing me up inside. It's torture and lust alive. You know I will never be free. Love like ecstasy, you're making me lose control. It feels like I've lost my soul. You see what you're doing to me. Love like ecstasy, it's tearing me up inside. It's torture and lust alive. You know I will never be free. Love like ecstasy.
All right, that was Love Like Ecstasy. We got Amerakin Overdose here. I love these guys. But actually, I only got one of them. So I love this guy. This guy's awesome. But I can't be official friends with him on Facebook because he's got like 5,000 friends. So I
just had a guy bitch me out about that the other night, and it's like, Facebook needs to fucking adjust that. Literally, like,
really
why are you
does.
going to limit someone to 5,000?
So I follow him on Facebook, but we can't be Facebook official friends.
We'll
It's
be
okay.
friends soon. People always delete me. If I say something offensive, people delete me, and it's like, all right, fuck you. I don't need you on my page. I'll add someone on my following list. That's what I normally do. So,
Well, you should add me. All right. Anyway, so we're getting a lot on things here. Gosh, this has been a lot of fun, and very
I agree. It's been
very
fun.
very informational for me because I don't know a lot about these guys. I mean, I know a lot, but I'm getting even more information because I never knew they came out here in the Midwest. Because let's be honest, I did not get sucked into the absolute local music scene till about 2015 when I started following around 3 Left. I always name drop those guys, and I'm so sorry, but they're the ones that got me into the local music scene.
That is
Anyway,
awesome, man. It takes one band. That's all it takes is one band to make a difference in your life, and then you start looking at things differently. I still remember the first local band that got me into the stuff out here. So
yeah, I don't even listen to
awesome
mainstream
they were able to do
much.
that.
Yeah, I don't listen to much mainstream stuff anymore. Like I listen to the old stuff, like the classics.
Yep.
Like
it's usually the first couple albums that you like of most bands nowadays anymore, unless you're looking for that. Oh, I want that the hottest hit like thing. Like if you're into that, then fucking go listen to top 40 fucking shit that's going on the radio or whatever.
Yeah.
But most of the bands I like, it's always their earlier albums, with an exception of Papa Roach. I fucking love those guys. They're great. They're amazing. And it seems like every album they keep putting out is just getting better and better and better. And they're a band that has morphed through that new metal era and been able to work with it and just still playing the festivals, still playing the big ass fucking stages and tours and whatnot. So there's still bands out there that can still make that happen, that don't sell out completely, and that just keep putting out hit after hit after hit, and they just fucking rock and have that energy.
Because of this, I'm going to really have to listen to more Papa Roach now. Because I'm going to be honest, I bought the first CD.
Really good.
I bought the first CD, and I love it from beginning track to end track. I love it. It's one of my favorite
Listen
CDs.
To Crooked Teeth.
Well,
listen to Crooked Teeth. That's all you.
Crooked Teeth. All right, I'm writing that down now.
Listen, start from beginning to end. It morphs into. It's an album that just you listen to it and it's like, I don't feel like I just listened to this type of song on the previous song, and it's one of those that just it's good. It's heavy. It's got some industrial things to it. It's got some rap stuff to it. It's got some pop stuff to it. It's got experimental stuff to it. It's got EDM stuff to it. It's just it's a morphing album, and I love it.
My favorite song that they put out, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's on their second CD. I believe it's
Love Me Not.
Is that their second CD? Maybe it's their third CD. Getting Away with Murder.
Yep, that was the third
I friggin' love that song. It's one of my favorite songs. But there's another band that I'm going to have on here in the future, which is how I described it to a friend of mine was picture Rage Against the Machine and Skrillex having a baby. And there you go. And I'm talking about brain farting. Super Bob. Talking about Super Bob.
Oh, we played with them. We played with Super Bob. We played with them out in Pennsylvania on the Mushroom Head tour.
I love them.
Second or third show. They put on an amazing show.
Oh,
they were
gosh.
really good.
They played out here in Racine a few weeks ago with my guys 3 Left and another band. They're from New Jersey, American Grim. And, oh my gosh, like American Grim, they just have a guitarist, a drummer, and the singer. And it was like that new metal, like rock. And I was really getting into it. They were really good. The song I like, oh man, I got to go and check real quick because I know it. The Concrete Jungle. That is my favorite song off that CD. I have the CD, but the Concrete Jungle. You got to check it out, Cody. Just go check it out. American Grim Concrete Jungle. And
I'm going to look them up. As soon as you said new metal kind of thing, I'm like, oh, I'm all about that. That is my era. The 90s. I was just talking to my friends earlier about the 90s is when the best music came out, regardless of what kind of music it was, period. It's just, that's the best era for music for me.
Well, you got to sit there and talk like one of the greatest albums of all time, in my personal opinion. As far as the rock era, one of the greatest albums of all time came out in the 90s, and I'm talking about Pearl Jam 10. That, in my opinion, is one of the greatest.
Fucking ass, man.
That was one of the greatest albums of all time, and it's in my top 10 of greatest albums of all time. It's probably, higher up in the top 5. But in my opinion, one of the greatest albums of all time and one of the most influential albums to ever grace America was NWA Straight Outta Compton. That album changed the hip-hop and rap industry. That album is
It changed
phenomenal.
the attitude in period in anybody. I think it changed the attitude in everyone. It's like, you have to be pissed off. You should be angry. You should speak out. You should, voice your opinion. I think it was a culture. It was a culture fucking thing, culture movement that with that album, and definitely influential. I don't care if you're just a rapper or a fucking metal, whatever type of music you listen to. If you're a musician, it was a influence to that. Like with when you have these artists, it's amazing with the impact that they can have. Like I was talking about Tupac yesterday with some friends about how great Tupac was as a frontman. Not only was he a great, influential, like just writer and just talking about things that were real and that he was, that he experienced and that he had been in, but just the attitude that came behind him and how he influenced people in that sense, where he just didn't give a fuck. He's just who he was. People couldn't tell him to be, you have to be this way or you have to be that way. He was just himself, and that's a huge influence, man. That's just. That can do wonders to people, that are writing music when you're not worrying about what other people think or what people are telling you to be. Just be yourself. And
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. You know what got me into Tupac? And everyone's gonna laugh, because this was one of my favorite hip hop groups, Digital Underground. When he used to run with Digital Underground, he did this song, and it was off their EP. It was like their second one. And it was called The Same Song, and it was for that movie, Nothing to Lose.
Yep.
And, oh gosh, that, like, his rhymes in that song, I was like, dude, this guy's really good. And I'm like, I want to know who does that. And this was before we had the internet. So you really couldn't just, like, Google search because it wasn't, like, on your phone. So you had to sit there and ask, and finally someone said, oh, that's Tupac. So then I was trying to do research on Tupac, looking for his stuff, and really, really got into him because of that. And All Eyes on Me, that CD, oof, that's all I could say. Yeah. That album.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I was just thinking about how hard it was, like back in the day when you didn't have like things like apps like Shazam, where you can play the song or part of it, or listen to part of it from when you're at a club or something to find out what song it is. Like back in the day, you didn't have Google to, like, a lot of these artists didn't have like the Google where you can be like, all right, well, who sings, and you can put in some of the lyrics and then find out who sings it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and you couldn't download it either. Like I remember still having tapes I'd play, like the Pantera tape, the Bulgar Display of Power, and fucking the Black Album from Metallica, and like
Black Album,
Marilyn Manson, dude. Antichrist Superstar was on tape. I had that on tape. But I remember, like, you'd wait for your favorite artist on whatever station you're listening to play, and instantly you'd start recording.
Oh yeah.
but because you didn't know when they were going to play whatever artist they're going to, you would play, and then you'd get you'd get in there like 10 or 15 seconds after the song started playing, actually hit the record button.
Oh yeah.
To record the artist to have the song. But it's like, it's such a different time that we live in nowadays. It's so crazy to think that, there's a huge benefit for artists nowadays, because if you know part of the lyrics, you can look up the lyrics on Google and it will tell you who sings it. But back in the day, like you said, you didn't know who did the lyrics that Tupac was singing on from a movie or from a video game or for whatever that you're on.
Yeah.
So it's a huge benefit for us musicians nowadays. I try to look at things in the positive side rather than saying, oh well, there's no point in being a musician and people are just gonna download it or whatever.
Yeah.
You just gotta roll with the times, man.
I've had bands tell me that social media can somewhat hinder the local music scene, because with cell phones now, people can just sit there and videotape you playing a concert, upload it on YouTube or on Facebook, be like, well, I didn't go to the show, but I know someone's going to videotape something up on Facebook or YouTube. So, and
you know this, I guarantee you know this because you've been to the live shows.
Yeah.
There is nothing like no videotape.
Oh yeah.
No goddamn, not the highest tech quality fucking video recorder will ever be able to replace that feeling you have. The smell that you have in the air, the loudness, the way your ears blur after the concert, fucking the interaction you have with the people there and with the band and getting to meet that. Nothing will ever be able to replace that. No live video on YouTube will be able to replace that. So there's no reason for people to bitch about that. Yes, you might get to see some of the talking points the bands give and maybe some of the lights they're using and whatnot, but there's nothing like actually physically being there. They will never be able to take that through social media, period. So I don't know why people bitch about that.
Which I got to tell you, now this is two experiences that I've had. Again, referring to Three Left, I'm sorry. I just keep referring to them, and I shouldn't constantly do that. But they're like you know how Walgreens you can make calendars, like picture calendars?
Yep.
I have a picture calendar that is of Three Left. And I have taken different pictures from like every show that I've gone to, and that's on my calendar. I have a Three Left calendar. I support local music to the core, and these guys are like, I am like a super fan, okay, of Three Left.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. That's
so I went to one of their shows, and there was a band that Chadwick, the lead singer, was really kind of pushing towards me, and it was a band called Fatal Havoc. And they're from the Chicago area, which you should check them out. They're pretty good. They were covering Beer. And because I'm a crippled individual, which I hate saying crippled, and I hate saying disabled, I can't move around that well. So I'm sitting on a bar stool with my cane, and I'm just like headbanging as much as I can. And Sean, the lead singer, is watching me, and I'm singing everything with him, because when he's doing the covers, I'm singing along with him, and I got the horns up, and I'm like headbanging, and as soon as he does Beer, I kind of jumped off the bar stool, and I'm trying to stand, and I'm like just going with him. He comes out of the little stage area, because it was a bar without a stage. He comes out, and he starts singing Beer with me, and I'm singing Beer with him into the microphone. We're like, beer is good,
awesome.
beer is good, beer is good, and stuff. Dude, that was amazing. There was
another. You're gonna remember for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, there was another time that Three Left was playing. I know their whole entire first CD by heart, their EP. I've played it numerous of times, where I know almost all the lyrics to the song, and they were doing one of my favorite songs out their EP, which is Face Turned Black. And Chadwick had invited me up on stage to sing some of the song with him. So I was singing the chorus to Face Turned Black with them on stage. That was pretty awesome. Sadly, none of my friends videotaped that, and I'm really kind of upset. But it happened. I know it happened. There is a videotape, however.
Fucking cool.
There is a video floating around Facebook, however, of the time 2 years ago in November. I was sitting in the hospital. I had cellulitis, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And I was not able to attend the annual Toys for Tots show that Three Left does, and they had Royal Bliss, which is one of a very influential band to me. They were playing at the Broad Stop with Three Left, and there was a humongous snowstorm, and Chad was going to get Three Left to come to the hospital and visit me, but because of the snowstorm, they couldn't come. So they all signed a back of a T-shirt for me, and then Chadwick gave me a shout out on stage, and was like, one of our biggest fans is stuck in the hospital, and he said Frankie Hoffman's up in the hospital. There's that video floating around.
Awesome.
It's floating on Facebook, and then Neil, the lead singer from Royal Bliss, says, "We're gonna rock this next song for Frankie." And very coincidentally, they ended up playing my favorite song, which was completely coincidence, but it was fate. It was fate. But we're not going to talk about me and my stuff that happens in my life. We're here to talk about Amerakin Overdose and how social media, the local rock scene, and supporting the local rock scene matters. So anyway, you guys been around for a while, but I'm sure you've picked up, a microphone before, 2010. So who are some of your biggest influences? Now, I've seen on Reverbnation and Facebook, it was like names like Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson and stuff. Are those like your sole influences, or is there more to you than that?
Well, like I was saying, Tupac was probably a huge influence on us as well, just as a frontman. Slipknot, obviously, Pantera, Phil Anselmo, Metallica, 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, like you said. There's been a lot of bands that have influenced us. My friends that have been in bands around here, I can name off former bands that they're in that influenced me. Like you said earlier, like for a while there, I wasn't about like, I knew the local scene was this. When I was a teenager, I didn't really know about the local scene. I played in a local band, but we never got outside of the garage to actually get involved and start playing with these local bands. So, I didn't really know support your local scene or anything like that until later on after I graduated from high school, and then I started getting more involved and actually started playing live shows. But I would say, those names that you named off and the ones I just named off are probably huge influences on what we've done. Usually I like more of the outspoken people that don't give a fuck, that are controversial, that talk about hot topics that most people won't talk about. Howard Stern is a great example of someone that just does what he wants and hit a nerve with people. I usually like the more edgy, piss everybody off type of characters out there. Kind of like
Mancow. Did you ever get to hear Mancow out there in Portland?
Nope.
Mancow is a DJ that was on an old radio station in Chicago called Q101. And he's very, very much like Howard Stern. Very much. I would say he's even worse. And some of the stuff that he said on the radio, I'm just like, I can't believe they let him say that. I'm just like, awesome. It's just like jaw dropping to the floor, like, oh dang. Like they had
great.
they had a skit that they played, like a commercial, and they were talking about an ice cream bar. They're like, oh yeah, we got the new ice cream bar called Cowboy Dick, and they go like, yeah, we're gonna talk to this lady and see what she thinks about it. She's like, how do you like that ice cream? She goes, I can't talk. My mouth is full of Cowboy Dick. Oh, she's smiling. She's smiling. And I'm like, oh, my God. How did they get away with saying that? Oh, man. And I was just like, just unbelievable. But anyway, this next question I'm going to ask you, I'm pretty sure with what we spoke with influences that you would probably answer that with the same. But one of my co-hosts that is not with me today, Juan, came up with this question, so I added it into the regular questions that I try to ask. So if you were going on tour and you could tour with any band or artist, alive, dead, or broken up, who would you guys want to go on tour with?
Well, Pantera.
Pantera.
I would say them. That would be a party, you know damn well it would be. that would be the first band. I would say Marilyn Manson back in his prime when he was pissing everybody off in the Antichrist Superstar days.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Slipknot when they were pissing everybody off in the earlier days too. Like, if we did like a club tour, not an arena tour, but a club tour, I think that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. See, I like Slipknot. I really do. And their drummer just drives me insane with what he does. But there was a song that's not typical Slipknot style, and I'm talking about Snuff. I really like that song. It kind of hit me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was very acoustic and just calming and dark, and even the video makes it even that much more disturbing.
Yeah, but it kind of hit me in the heart. It really, at the time in my life that I was going through, because I was going through a really, really bad breakup, and it was like, oh my gosh, this song just hits me. And I was playing it for a friend, and they're like, dude, I really like this. They went out and bought the CD. They came back and gave me the CD. It says, you can have this. And I'm like, why? He goes, that song is the only good song on that album. I'm like, dude, this CD is amazing. Because
the CD was good. I understand the CD was good on that one, but it's just like it. I think they were kind of like on that. Out of all the albums, that one and the third one are probably my least favorite. I can admit when something's bad, even when I'm a huge fan of the band.
Yeah,
I can admit when something's bad, and it's just that those two CDs are bad. Their most recent one was good. I thought it was great. It like almost they lit a fire in their ass when they lost Paul and Joey, but the fourth album and the third album were just kind of like.
I'm trying.
Volume 3 is the one that's got.
Volume 3.
Duality and fucking.
Volume 3
was
went
experimental, but
Volume 3 was probably one. Volume 3. It's a toss up between Volume 3 and Iowa. Were probably they had some of my really favorite tracks on it. You know,
Iowa was great. I still think that the rawness of first album.
The first album was great.
Untouchable. It was raw, ugly, dirty, nasty, filthy, fucking. It was still shocking to me. I'm like, what the fuck? There's bands exist like this? Like, threw me off.
Would you
I
say?
do have to say my phone is about to die. It's giving me like fucking beeps. So,
okay.
I unfortunately I'm not near a charger.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll ask one last question before we get into this. Now, would you say that you guys have taken the Slipknot like mask thing kind of into your performance on stage? Was that kind of where it came from?
Has it been an influence? I guess, is it an influence? Yes. I wouldn't say that
you didn't
we
just
want to be
steal it
portrayed
from
like that. No. I mean, we get accused of all sorts of shit, man. We've been accused of fucking being juggalos, which none of us listen to any ICP shit whatsoever. That's the funny part. Like, if you looked in my iPod or my catalog of anything, never once have, like, any of us been fans of any ICP things. Are we against them? No. We went and played the Gathering of the Juggalos, and I thought that was a fucking great experience. But people are going to see what they want to see, and they're going to judge you for what we'll get compared to Guar, because we've done some gory stuff on stage and the fake blood and shit like that. The fact we have one member with a mask, you know, people say Slipknot. It's like, okay, how many members in Slipknot paint their fucking face? They wear masks.
Yeah, they all wear masks.
We've been accused of being Mudvayne. We've been accused of, like, everything. Are those influences for us? Yes. Do we try to sound like them? Fucking show me a song that is like Love Like Ecstasy that we put out, that Mudvayne or Slipknot or Guar has put out. You know what I mean? Like, we are our own fucking demon in the pool.
Yeah.
Are we influenced by those bands? Definitely, but I would not say that we're trying to rip anybody off or sound like them. Like, I said this the other day. Is like we're not that band that's trying to be dark and gloomy and scary and like we're devil worshippers. And, you know, you see that a lot nowadays and it's cheesy. Everything has been done. The scariest stuff, the intriguing stuff, all that crap has been done so many times. It's like, we're not going to be that band that's going to try to be a part of that. We're that band that's going to make fun of ourselves. We'll put on a show on stage. But after that, like, we don't go do our fucking interviews and makeup. We don't do our, you know, we don't focus on the image so much. It's more about, let's put this fucking music out, let's talk some shit, and let's have some fun. Let's make fun of ourselves and make fun of other people and piss some people off. That's kind of what we are. And we like I said earlier, we party a lot. We like to have fun and exploit the kind of culture that we live out here.
Yeah.
So if you compare us to all those other bands that people compare us to, I wouldn't say that we're anything like them in that sense.
Yeah. So we're gonna spin ILO now because Cody's phone's about to die. So the video is intense. Now, is the video like kind of like an anti-drug? That's what I was getting from it.
I wouldn't say it's anti-drug. We don't promote drugs, but we also don't say fucking don't do them because
the video is great, by the way.
Everyone in the band has done drugs for the most part, with the exception of Human. It's more about it's more about standing up for yourself, believing in yourself, and knowing you can overcome anything, whether it's a drug addiction, abusive relationship, any kind of bullshit in your life. Don't depend on another person for your happiness. Depend on yourself. Stand up for yourself. Make your own happiness. Don't fucking count on another person because they'll let you down. That's kind of like the message behind that video. Yeah,
that video was great. So,
thank you,
guys. We Cody's phone's gonna die, so we gotta wrap this up. So, thank you much, Cody, for coming on. Like I say always, hashtag support local music. Keep the trend alive. Here's I Alone, and we'll catch you next time with 3 left.